Hello, welcome back to the channel. I'm gonna take a little bit of a departure from my normal Suzuki and Isuzu content today and do a walk around of another car I've been restoring, refreshing for the last year. About a year or so ago, I did some work for somebody that was moving into an assisted living facility, and there underneath a tree I was actually working on sat a decent looking Subaru. Didn't look like it had moved in a long time and needed to move to do some work on the tree. Talked to the owner about it, and she said she couldn't move it, didn't start, and if I could make it go away, to make her an offer on it. So I talked with her about it a little bit. It's super low miles, 65,000 miles only on it, but it had been sitting a long time. Offered $1,500, and I got it started and was able to get a title for it because she had lost the title, and brought home a low mile Subaru project. So without further ado, here it is, the 2003 Subaru Outback Premium Edition in burgundy. Body's in really good condition, interior's in really good condition. This was the quintessential little old lady's car. She worked for the local power company and drove it back and forth to work until she retired, and it sat for a while, and it's found its way into my hands. So I'll give you a little walk around of it and what I've done to it thus far. So it's a Pacific Northwest car, so it's completely rust free. It's never seen a day of salt in its life, never been up on the mountain pass even. But it was certainly covered in moss when I bought it. I've probably got well over a dozen hours just in cleaning it and detailing it to get it to look nice again. So so it was a nice car. My intent was to drive it for work, but I'm used to a truck, and it just wasn't working out for me, so I'm letting it go. One of my friends is actually flying out from Wisconsin to buy it. He's gonna give me what I paid for it, or what I've got into it thus far. So let's talk about what went into getting it nice here. Starting the front end, the headlights were completely fogged over from sitting. You can see on the bumper there's a little bit of discoloration here on the bumper, and that's where it sat for years, and the water would run down the hood right there, and the headlights were completely covered in moss, and they were all grayed over underneath. So I wet sanded those and got them looking nice and clear again. There's a couple chips in the windshield. I had those chips repaired. She had backed it into her garbage can, so there was a dent in the back. I had a paintless dent repair guy come out and get the big dent out of the back. It looks really great. Right along the seam here on the bottom, where it bent at that seam right there, there's a little bit of paint damage. I'm awaiting a factory touch-up paint pen for it to fix it. Should be here in the mail any day, and I'll get that touched up. So this is the first two projects were get it so it had good headlights, and get the big dent out of the back. Both the rear headlight or tail lights had some chips in them too. So those were replaced with brand new tail lights. They had some water in them from the chips, so those were all brand new. It went down the road a little bit crooked. It had some alignment issues. It went in, got an alignment done, goes down the road nice and straight now. As far as maintenance goes, buying a low miles car doesn't always equal high maintenance. She did have the head gasket recall done, and at that time the timing belt was done, so that was about 60,000 miles. It's got a clean Carfax. She always had the oil change, new tires put on it, but that was about it. I ended up spending almost $4,000 on rear diff seals. They were leaking. The front diff was leaking onto the exhaust and making it smell in the heater, so that was repaired. The rear one was leaking too, so they did both of them at the same time. The rear struts were blown out on it, so it's got brand new rear struts on it too. It was making some valve ticking noise. I brought it into them, and to Smart Subaru here in Mukilteo is who did the service on the engine, and they did the diffs too. They said that it was a little varnished up from sitting, so they did a hot flush on the engine, like a hot chemical flush on it to clean things out, and then it got a valve adjustment at the same time. He said the valves were out quite a ways, so get the hood up here. The valves were out quite a ways, so the valves needed an adjustment. New valve cover gaskets at that time. She purrs nice and quiet now. As you can see, the engine compartment looks like new. It's in, you know, mint condition underneath the engine compartment. 69,000 miles. I put about 4,000 miles on this car in the last year driving it for work, but the engine is all dialed in. It did have 2 cracked CV boots. They put brand new CV axles on it at that time, so also got brand new CVs. Let's take a look at the interior here. Interior's pretty mint. Driver's seat, no tears. Bolster doesn't even sag any. It's a premium edition, so it's got the power seats, cruise control, fog lights, wood grain dash, AC, weather band on the compact disc player. It does not have the multiple disc or the cassette deck that the Limited would have had, but it's the premium. It's got a nice stereo in it. It does include the heated seats then. It's got the little sunglass holder up here. One of my trips I took it up to the dealership for the airbag recall and picked up some authentic Subaru sunglasses to go in the sunglass holder up here. So it's all dialed in. It's got 2 sets of keys. The others are hanging in the house. I put brand new batteries in both the key fobs. Factory manuals there. Take a look at the back seat here. Back seat is mint. I doubt anybody's ever really even sat in this. She was you know, kind of a hoarder house. I don't think she had, you know, a lot of people riding around in her car with her. So the back seat is in really good condition. It's got the factory roof rack on it. Some of the plastic here is starting to peel a little bit on the roof rack, and it is a 20-year-old car, so she's not perfect, but roof rack's all in good serviceable condition. Hatchback's in nice shape. It's got the pull-out tonneau cover in it there. Underneath here's a full-size factory spare. It's got a little air compressor thingy in there that she left in the car when I bought it. Yeah, nice car. It's gonna make my buddy a good, decent driver for hopefully for a long time to come. I certainly did my best to try and get this thing dialed in. As you know, cars have gotten so expensive nowadays that it really pays to do maintenance and get everything dialed in and everything perfect to make these things last, because I'm sure a new version of this car is probably pushing $60,000 nowadays for a premium Outback. So yep, I hope everybody enjoyed watching a little something different besides my Isuzu and Suzuki products. So Thanks for watching. Stay tuned.